Welcome to News 9. You're watching On Point with me and I'm Kartikeya Sharma. And on point 1, we debate the Save Aravalli's movement, which is increasingly gathering pace and has prompted the government to answer pertinent questions. On point 2, Bangladesh is being ruled by extremists committing genocide of Hindus in broad daylight. Can New Delhi replicate its approach with Kabul and Dhaka? Now let's take a quick look at the headlines. TVK chief Vijay hosts grand Christmas event in Mahabalipuram in an attempt to woo DMK's traditional minority vote bank, assures communal harmony and vows to stand for secularism in Tamil Nadu. After actress Nidhi Agarwal was mobbed, now Samantha Ruth Prabhu mobbed by unruly crowd while attending a professional commitment, raising fresh concerns about crowd control at public events. Shocking 16-second video of violence emerges from a top hospital in Shimla. Doctor seen repeatedly thrashing patient, patient seen kicking doctor. India-New Zealand signed for free trade agreement. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal says deal finalized in 9 months by women-led team marks India's third pact with Five Eyes nations and 7th in last 1 year. Kashmir witnesses first snowfall of the season. Gulmarg covered in blanket of snow. Japan prepares to restart world's biggest nuclear plant 15 years after Fukushima nuclear accident. On November 20th, the Supreme Court adopted a new definition of what comprises the Aravalli mountain range. It ordered that only landform rising 100 meters or above the local terrain will now qualify as Aravalli. Environmentalists are warning that the vast swaths of Aravallis could be left unprotected, directly posing a threat to food security and water security. They warn that up to 90% of the Aravalli's range could be left unprotected, and increased mining and real estate grabbing could wreak ecological havoc. Risks also include increased desertification amid soaring pollution in the region and crippled groundwater recharge amid water security. Experts have said that the order ignores ecological value of the range. Meanwhile, the Union Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav has responded by saying that 90% of Aravalli area is protected as there won't be any mining in more than 0.19% of the area. He said that no new mines have opened even in the 0.19% permitted area. He argues that the Supreme Court's revised definition has been given in order to stop illegal mining and that the review of the new definition is still pending. Any new mining will follow a scientific plan. He says that the Indian Council of Forestry Research and Education will be involved in decision. He said that defining the area would ensure strict compliance. He also assured that the centre is committed to ensuring green range and the government has been appreciated by the Apex Court for its Green Aravalli Wall movement.
टॉप से धरातल तक, और धरातल में भी उस लैंड फॉर्म जिस फॉर्मेट में है वहाँ का मिनिमम लोएस्ट एरिया है, उस लैंड फॉर्म जिसमें वो सिचुएटेड है, वो अरावली पर्वत और अरावली रेंज का अर्थ है उसके 500 मीटर के अंतर्गत। कई लोग कई तरह की बातें कह रहे हैं, कुछ हमारे वरिष्ठ नेता लोग भी भ्रामक ट्वीट कर रहे हैं। सबसे पहले मैं क्लियर कर दूं, एनसीआर रीजन में माइनिंग अलाउ ही नहीं है। एनसीआर का अर्थ हो गया दिल्ली, गुड़गांव, फरीदाबाद, नूह और जहां तक अलवर का एनसीआर लगता है। तो जब एनसीआर रीजन में माइनिंग ही अलाउ नहीं है तो उनका तथ्य ही झूठा है। दूसरा, ये डेफिनेशन आने के बाद भी इस निर्णय में ही ये कहा गया है कि अभी कोई नई माइनिंग लीज ही नहीं दी जाएगी, बल्कि कोर्ट ने अपने निर्णय में ये कहा है, जो पैरा नंबर 38 में है, द कमेटी रिकमेंड दैट टू एंश्योर सस्टेनेबल माइनिंग इन अरावली हिल एंड रेंज, नो न्यू माइनिंग लीज एक्सेप्ट इन केस ऑफ क्रिटिकल स्ट्रेटेजिक एंड एटॉमिक मिनरल। तो कोई नई माइनिंग की वो विषय नहीं है। सरकार इकोलॉजी और इकोनॉमी को साथ साथ लेकर के चल रही है। जो झूठ बोल रहे हैं उनका झूठ बेनकाब धीरे धीरे हो रहा है, और झूठ के कोई पैर नहीं होते हैं, वो अपने आप ही अपने ही झूठी चीज़ों से समाप्त हो रहे हैं।
The Aravallis are one of the world's oldest mountain ranges. In fact, it is said that they are older than the Himalayas. They function as the green lungs of North India and are a natural barrier against the Thar Desert by blocking hot desert winds. The Aravalli range regulates regional climate, recharges groundwater and aquifers, and prevents soil erosion, filters dust and air pollution, supports the region's rich biodiversity, and most importantly, is the lifeline of Rajasthan's water security infrastructure. The Aravalli range is crucial for Delhi's environmental survival. The hill acts as a natural shield, blocking dust and hot desert winds from Thar, helping curb pollution and prevent desertification. They play a vital role in groundwater recharge, supporting Delhi NCR's water needs while also regulating local climate and reducing the intensity of heat and dust storm. Regulating illegal mining is the need of the hour. The Apex Court has paused fresh mining leases across Delhi, Haryana, Rajasthan and Gujarat. It has issued comprehensive direction for sustainable mining and ecological restoration of the region. Now, before I go to my big question, let me play out the another bite of the Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav.
अरावली के क्षेत्र में 4 टाइगर रिजर्व्स हैं। अरावली के क्षेत्र में 20 वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी हैं। अरावली के क्षेत्र में सरकार के द्वारा जहां पर पेड़ लगाने का कार्यक्रम किया गया है, चाहे ग्रीन इंडिया मिशन में हो, चाहे कैंपा में हो, वहां पर फ्यूचर में इस निर्णय के बाद भी कोई माइनिंग नहीं है। दूसरा एक और जो विषय कहा जाता है, क्योंकि सीईसी की रिकमेंडेशन थी और सीईसी की रिकमेंडेशन में कहा भी गया था कि ऐसे एरियाज, रीजन वेयर देयर आर प्रूवन और पोटेंशियल वाटर एक्विफायर्स और एक्विफायर रिचार्ज एरियाज, और वेयर फ्रॉम ग्राउंड वाटर इज सोर्स फॉर इरिगेशन एंड ड्रिंकिंग पर्पस, वो भी इस क्षेत्र में आ रहा है। सीसी की पैरा 38 एरियाज विच हैव बीन आइडेंटिफाइड एज डार्क जोन। तो ये तो सब जितने विषय झूठ और भ्रम के फैलाए जा रहे हैं, इसका निस्तारण तो जजमेंट में ही करा गया है। और उसके बाद इस निर्णय में भी जो कहा गया है, जो इसका ऑर्डर है, we accept the recommendation made by the committee with regard to the definition of hill and ranges, but it is only subject of the mining. बाकी अरावली का 58% एग्रीकल्चर एरिया है। अरावली में लगभग 11% वुडेड एरिया है। अरावली में मैं थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे हो सकता हूँ, लेकिन 6-7% रेजिडेंशियल एरिया। सिटीज़ इसी में बसे हुए हैं।
Now the big question is, how do we save Aravallis? Is development getting better of the environment? And how does one control unregulated quarrying? But before that, the bigger issue is Aravalli in danger? Are the changes so substantial? And what is the controversy about, the row which has erupted? On this issue, I am joined by Somajit Bhar, Assistant Professor, School of Liberal Studies, BML, Munjal University, Devan Singh, environmentalist, and Bhavrin Khandari, environmental activist. Thank you, all of you. Let me straight away go to Somajit Bhar. My first question to you is, what is at the heart of this issue? Let's put that on table for our viewers, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for the invitation. So the main issue, if I may say, is that we had seeing a bureaucratic eraser in terms of defining that hill will not be counted as quote unquote hill in government records, and thereafter is a, I would say, is a landmark judgment in that sense, which has we haven't seen similar things, especially related to the environmental, amenities and environmental aspects. And because of this, in general, we have a tendency to take anything which is non-usable land, be it non-agriculture, non-forest, as quote unquote wasteland. And in this case, what is going to happen is that if we define something as not hills, they lose their status and therefore they get categorized as wasteland. And wasteland needs to be quote unquote developed for human use. And therefore, all of, as you know, almost close to 90% of Aravalli falls within that whatever 100-meter limit. So that land suddenly becomes quote unquote available for concretized development, and that is something a very very serious issue. And we know that Aravalli is the main source through is the water recharge in the Delhi NCR and the allied regions happens. So along with water recharge, there are many other benefits, some of which already you have mentioned. So yeah, I would keep my input into this right now.
Okay, let me go across to Divan Singh, sir. One, your opinion on this categorization that has been accepted, and secondly, the Union Minister for Environment is saying that everything is as per the norm and the mining will not happen outside that 0.19. Outside 0.19. That's what he said. Am I audible to you, sir? Okay. Bhavin,
Yeah.
can you take this question? I think there's a bit of a
Yes.
technical issue with Mr.
Yeah.
Singh's line.
Sure. To me, this is the 0.19%. First of all, this game of numbers is always dicey, for between citizens and government, as we've been seeing, within the air pollution. So it's a bit misleading. Even a fraction of mining activity in such a fragile, ancient range like the Aravallis, can cause disproportionate ecological damage. There's no doubt about that, especially to groundwater recharge, wildlife corridors, to various biodiversity loss, and then we are talking about the air pollution, which we are all experiencing in this whole Indo-Gangetic plain. So the illegal mining has been acknowledged, and so that itself, I think, is something to worry about, and something to be, that enforcement's unaddressed. This is, I think, this is something which is important, that the minister admits that illegal mining is the main problem. Yet there is no data on prosecutions. There's no data on mine closures, or any kind of drone monitoring, satellite monitoring, or accountability in general of the state governments. I think that is what the conversation should move to, rather than the number game of how much and what, because it's not like we've not seen mining there. There are residents and villagers who have been exposing so much, and the pending review is not a safeguard. It's saying a review is pending before the court cannot substitute for precautionary protection. Ecological damage is often irreversible, by the time judicial clarity arrives, etc. So I think this itself is, like I said, it's kind of an acceptance, by the minister, and strangely, there's no transparency, that even the public, the maps are not public. There are no enforcement data. So all these things, I think we should be questioning, on credibility concerns at this point.
Okay, Divan Singh, if you can hear me, we have to separate fact from fiction. So what is the fact and what is the fiction? What is the fact here?
See, fact is that let's look at Delhi first, because
Okay.
I'm based in Delhi, and we first raised a movement called Rij Bachao Andolan in Delhi in the year 2004-5, and before that, Citizens for Preservation of Quarries and Lakes Wilderness. We fought to save 690 acres of area next to IJ Airport, which is now Aravalli Biodiversity Park. Now the fact is that as soon as you term Aravallis are only Aravallis if they're 100 meter and above. In Delhi, you don't have Aravallis then. Then there's no ridge in Delhi. master plan becomes redundant because master plan says Aravalli needs to be protected. It's an important natural feature of the city. 7777 hectares of ridge area is to be protected under the master plan. But then it's not Aravalli anymore. So what's the protection for? Now the Aravalli Biodiversity Park, which the citizens community fought to and managed to save in Vasant Vihar. Now that actually, as a matter of fact, it loses its tag called Aravalli. It's no more Aravalli. Well, it's not above 100 meters. There's no land formation of Aravalli in Delhi which is more than 100 meters. It's below that, much below that. It's less than even 50 meters. So Delhi no more has Aravallis. This is the fact now because of this definition by the Supreme Court accepting it. So this is happening, same is happening throughout the entire range up to Gujarat. 90% of Aravalli is below 100 meters. So that loses its tag as Aravalli. I mean, you are defying nature, you are saying, hey, nature, you are no more nature.
Okay.
You formed 2.5 billion years ago. We don't acknowledge that. You don't exist. It's like not acknowledging your mother. So I mean that's a catastrophe they've created on the nature.
Okay.
And
Okay. So just to hold your thought, I'm also joined by Neelam Ahluwalia, who's founder member, People for Aravallis. Thank you, madam. Thank you so much for joining me. Am I audible to you, ma'am? Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. So, ma'am, we were saying what is fact and what is fiction. Minister said that in no ways the rule jeopardizes the ecological sensitivity or the ecological terrain of the Aravallis. Everything is protected. Your opening comments.
As a matter of fact, journalists have been calling since yesterday for our statement on what the minister said. We recently launched the Aravalli Virasat Jan Abhiyan, where a lot of rural people, urban people across the range have come together. And these are like people who are directly living in the lap of the Aravallis. So now it's actually his what the minister said and what the press release of the minister, of the BJP government said. There's a lot of contradiction there. So the minister is saying that there are 39 Aravalli districts, whereas the press release is saying that there are 37 Aravalli districts. The minister is saying that there is mining happening in 219 square kilometers, whereas the press release is saying 277. So between the ministry only, they've just ended up causing more confusion. And our very humble submission to the minister is that please clarify that what are the names of the Aravalli districts that they consider the Aravallis, and what is the exact number. A. Second, when you're saying that 90% of the Aravallis are going to be protected, we want hard data that how many hills are considered Aravallis under the FSI definition, and what are the number of the Aravalli hills that are coming under protection under the new definition. So give us the hard numbers, right? You just can't say that 90% of the range is going to be protected. The other thing is that we would like the minister to actually make a statement to say that all
Okay. I think madam, there's a bit of a problem. We'll come back to you. Mr. Bhar, when we talk about Aravallis, they're talking about an old mountain range. We are talking about a range which crisscrosses number of states. It creates sub-local climate. But the heart of the issue is how do we balance the imperative of development with environment? That is at the heart of the issue. That's the bottom line here. So, environment is important. So is the development. I mean, so they cannot be one at the expense of other. So, what do you think are the safeguards which are required for Aravallis? Because any solution to Aravallis will have to be constructive and solution-based, where stakeholders are also part and parcel of it.
Correct. Yeah, I think there is no easy answer to this question. As you know, like this is the traditional debate between environment and development and how we balance based on the needs of the people. But in this case, I would say one of the key aspects should be not a judgment like this, which is kind of having a sweeping definition. And on a fine day, suddenly you find almost 90% of Aravalli hills are not qualified as hills anymore. But more localized development plans be it happening from the panchayat or from the local municipal bodies, a bottom up in terms of deciding where there are some important developmental projects that needs to be done, and that needs to be taken upwards, not from top down. So I think the biggest issue of
Mr.
this,
Mr. Bhar, as Divan Singh very rightly pointed out, he said his understanding of the new law is that there will be no
Correct.
Aravalli in Delhi because, this is called tyranny of categorization,
Correct.
It's
Correct.
the tyranny of categorization. I think that's what I understand of his argument, that you categorize something as something and then, it's not there because it's not there in the official paper. So what is
Yes.
your understanding of this categorization which has come into which will come into force? How will it affect the Aravalli ecosystem? Let's break it down for our viewers.
Correct. So I think once this categorization changes, just try to understand, in all government records, suddenly a hill which was categorized as hill will not remain anymore. And in India, we know for a fact, and we know that there are a lot of reports which shows that how in Aravalli there are illegal mining that are happening. Just think about the illegality of those minings will suddenly stop, and people will not be able to criminalize anyone as such. Because it is not anymore illegal. So right now, with those mining being illegal, still things are happening because of whatever the gaps in the governance, we all understand. But once it is not there, there is no way anybody could intervene to stop anyone from mining, and open mining which are not taking any permits are happening all around, and we know that for a fact. And this is just going to be decriminalized in that sense, which is a huge step.
I have a different position, Bhavrin, because when it comes to illegal sand mining and
Correct.
illegal quarrying, this is the most powerful and the dangerous mafia in North India. Police officers are bulldozed to death
Absolutely.
when they are trying to prevent sand mining. कोई बचता ही नहीं है. They are killed.
कोई बचता नहीं.
The quarrying or the illegal mining is the most dangerous aspect. The police and the officers, they are killed by this mafia. I don't think writing a law can take care of illegal quarrying. It requires a different sort of a deterrence, Bhavri.
Correct.
Yes,
Sorry, sir. Please go ahead.
No, please go ahead. It's
Okay,
fine.
Swamiji, if you wanted to comment.
My only point is this, that with the current mafia, as you rightly mentioned, with the legal protection, police is not able to intervene. Without the legal protection, when suddenly it is written off and these are not anymore hills, how they are going to at all stop? It cannot be stopped. Technically, it cannot be stopped. That is what the moot point. And therefore, it will get completely decriminalized in that sense. And therefore, it will happen in much higher rate, which we cannot simply imagine. Okay. And it's a classic example of collective action failure, which we will see. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Singh, the moot point of the minister, which I understood, he's saying that misinformation is being spread, one. Mr. Divan Singh, misinformation is being spread. Second thing he said, people are twisting the facts.
See, people also know to read between the lines. People are not just fools. They can't understand what they're talking about. So people know it, that if you are only categorizing only 10% of Aravalli as Aravallis, then what for are you doing it? What was the need to do this? So once we go into understanding if there is some need, then the need is to open it for some real estate development, to open it to legalize the farmhouses being constructed all over the Aravallis, and also for mining. And just now, sometime back, we were all discussing about the mining thing. The mining legal permits are for a small area, for a small patch, but illegal mining happens all around it, taking advantage of the legal permit. And this illegal mining doesn't happen like you're saying that the police officers are killed by the mining mafia. The mining mafia doesn't operate on its own. They are completely connected from local official to the top minister. That's how they operate. Yeah. So the police officer, if there's an honest police officer and he gets killed or he gets hurt during his efforts to stop the illegal mining, that means he's one odd police officer who didn't follow the diktat of the entire system that is trying to permit illegal mining in the area. So it's not the mafia. It's mafia lies in the government. Illegal miners cannot do anything if mafia doesn't exist in the government.
Okay.
So we must understand this. So they are trying to permit this illegal mining, and they are trying to legalize it, decriminalize it for the entire region, so that one can have free hand. I mean, as I said, can you disown your mother? This is what the government is trying to do. They are trying to disown their mother nature. Aravalli, one of the ticker that's going on in your news was Aravalli is 2.8 billion years old. Aravalli, it's 2.4, 2.8, whatever it is 40 times older than the Himalayas.
Correct.
I mean, Himalayas is 5.5 crore years old and Aravalli is 240 crore year old. Just imagine the amount of biodiversity, rich biodiversity it has from the old times, ancient times. Just imagine how much it may be having in comparison to, like I've been working in this area and I find that the biodiversity is much richer than what you see in Himalayas. So it is the last refuge of biodiversity for Northwest India, because entire Northwest India has been agricultured except for the Aravallis, because these are hills, and it is the sanctuary for pure
Okay.
water, mineral
So,
water.
okay. So let me come down to the conclusion very quickly, Mr. Khandari. So, what will be the consequence of the decision from your perspective as an environmentalist, madam?
So I'll just continue to what Devan saying, that the minister, what I said initially, admits to illegal mining is the main problem, yet offers no data on prosecutions. There's no mine closures. There's no satellite or drone monitoring or any kind of accountability. So obviously that itself is shows clearly there is no intent. And then something like this, when you're opening a whole new Pandora's box, there is definitely it's disastrous. And what
Okay.
worse can it be that our cities and the northern belt will be choking? I think there is nothing else. People have just said it. It's so wonderful to see how everyone has joined hands, citizens and media and all the experts together have shown it so clearly that so anyway, this whole thing needs a huge amount of precaution, transparency, and
Okay,
enforcement.
let me be the devil's advocate here, and let me before I close the show, let me go to Neelam Ahluwalia. Madam, a lot of people say that environmentalists also take up causes which slows down the development work. And Sardar Sarovar controversy was one big controversy which lasted for 25 years. And we all know what happened in the end. My question is very simple. Where is the balance between environment and development to you, since you are the founding member of the People for Aravallis?
Development at the cost of our natural resources, development at the cost of our lifeline for air and water is not development. All right? We have traveled throughout the Aravalli range. The range is bleeding. Our rivers have dried up. Our water bodies have dried up. Our groundwater level in the entire Aravalli belt has gone down to 1,000 feet, 1,500 feet, 2,000 feet. I am sorry, that is not development. And what are you mining for? You are taking out that stone to make buildings and to make roads. That is not development. Why are we not looking at alternative building materials? In Haryana alone, because of the policy decision of the government to open up all the hills for mining, the Aravallis have finished in 2 districts out of 7. Is that development? Is that good policy? Is that good governance? For the last 7 years, we have been campaigning for the Aravallis. We've raised issues of illegal mining. We've been asking the government to fly drones to even catch illegal miners. They are not even doing that. So what development are we talking about?
Okay.
We need to, whatever is left of the Aravallis,
Okay.
we need absolute protection for that.
Okay.
We don't need any more development in the Aravallis.
Okay. Okay. Thank you all of you. Thank you all of you for this conversation. And I think Devan Singh made the most pertinent point that if this definition is implemented in Delhi, maybe the ridge will not qualify, or the areas which are qualified as Aravalli in the master plan will disappear. So this was all I had on point 1. Up next, we are asking, can New Delhi maneuver Kabul and Taliban? The same can be achieved with Dhaka under the extremist Yunus regime.